As a designer, you've probably read a lot about the typography, colors, other like graphic design basics, or maybe just like skim through dozens of random online articles on Medium, but you're still kind of wondering, how can you improve your aesthetics in UI? How do you fill gaps in your UI skills? How can you get better? So probably the best option is to start with the basics and foundation, learning things like composition, colors, shapes, white space, graphic design basics. But this will take you a good 2 years of practice, and well, that's a lot of time when you have a task right now and you want to be better with your UI skills in foreseeable future. Even as a seasoned designer, you can still struggle with recalling and sorting through all that repository of knowledge that you have, especially when working against the tight deadline. This problem is extremely common. It is almost impossible to keep up with all the tips and tricks and all this stuff, especially when you're not using them every day. Another reason for not the best UI skills is the whole product design or metrics in actual revenue generation is the real thing. And UI bar is not that high as in the graphic design space. And without a strong design leader with a trained eye, there's really little to no reason to be meticulous about the UI details. With your UI craft improvements, it's very important to have a system which would help you get consistently better while saving you time on more complex and challenging tasks. So how exactly it is possible to speed up your educational process? You'll learn in just a minute. First of all, exercise while reading. Learning is an active process, and we learn best by doing, and only knowledge that we used sticks to our mind. And it's totally fine if you don't remember a lot of information after you just read a graphic design theory book. In order to memorize all that information, you need to support it by practice. But how to do it? Well, let's say you just read a chapter, Contrast Types, from Ethan's book about colors. And just as you read it, open in Pinterest or any similar service and try to find references that would represent the contrast types that you just read about. We can have a, let's say, contrast types folder or even separated folders for different contrast types. That's absolutely on you. Every time you come across some theory, try to support it by practice. Learning about font pairings, try to find some eye-catchy examples and pair some fonts by yourself. Well, studying visual hierarchy in design, let's say, supported by practice. Most people learn best by looking at visual examples while reading the theory. It is important to know, though, that in this exercise, you should seek references from your field of work. And if you're a product designer working with data-heavy UI, it doesn't make a lot of sense to save posters or promo-focused works, and even if they look very attractive, they wouldn't be so helpful. Second tip is set up a reference library. It is always nice to keep things organized. So give files meaningful names and keep a structure. Store them into properly named folders so that you can find them easily in the future. The good practice that should remain with you for years is to save them by yourself by creating your own library. Collect them from Dribbble, Behance, Pinterest, or anywhere else. But just saving them wouldn't really help. To fully fill and understand the work you like, you should work with them. References is a perfect way to learn basic patterns and learn how to apply them to your current and upcoming projects. One way is to copy reference that you like. Recreating existing designs will help you get a sense of the spacings, fonts, dimensions, colors on practice. Try to mix and match references. And try to recreate your favorite website or app exactly as you see it. Keep attention to details and look for fonts, white space, colors, any element in overall balance. Recreate the grid the designer used in their work. Try to be as close as possible and be sure to measure elements, their sizes and paddings. Keep attention to the following. What is the visual hierarchy? What are the most important elements on the page? What draws your attention and gives you emotions? What is the grid the designer used? What about the font? What is the type scale used here? These questions would give you a lot of insights and push your design skills forward. This is an extremely effective approach that painters use for decades. It's sort of a reverse engineering of visual work. Another important exercise is simply asking the same questions for pretty much any reference. What really works on this specific website? What jumps out to you? Why did it caught your attention? Write your notes along with the reference in your library. Next tip is study designers that inspire you. Every design work is sort of a remix of someone else's work. Everyone got inspired by something and someone, and nothing is completely original. Design history and theory in general would certainly give you a great peek into that evolution of ideas and techniques. What is technically important about that is the fact that your favorite designers has their own favorite designers and so on. And if you will clean that tree of references, ideas, and works, you'll find a great inspiration. There's a great power to that when you reach some foundational work and see why and how it was transformed. One of the most obvious examples is the Apple design and Brown as their main source of inspiration. Dieter Rams' works deeply influenced a lot of designers in the world in general. And if you look into the Bauhaus or the Swiss design, you would see a lot of techniques that exist in the modern web and are widely used as a standard. The importance of design history is greatly underestimated. There are so many great ideas waiting to be remixed and used in new ways. And more than that, understanding relationships between different people in their design would give you a greater context across time. You would see and understand patterns and the repetitions in trends. Other designers may have worked in different mediums than you, but really they were solving the same problems of communications that you have to solve today. Learn from the masters and work that lasted for years. And the last advice is dive into UI tips. One of the real hacks that you can do is to study UI tips. They wouldn't give you a lot of context and don't help you with solving a bigger problem, but still, it is a great place to refresh your memory and consume some bits of knowledge. There are lots of UI tips resources right out there, and they cover a large number of design fields. I will link some of the best ones in the description. Learning UI skills can be really overwhelming, but I can say that practice makes perfect, and there are really no shortcuts in UI design. It's all about time and repetition. So keep learning to be better at your UI game. Read books, study designers and their work, and do as much practice as you can. And this is really the way to be a better designer and better at UI skills in your general aesthetics. Good luck!